Hello, dear friends. Dance as if no one is watching. Laugh as if you will never be heard. Sing as if no one is listening. And live as if you were in paradise. William Packey. Opinion piece. Wave of divine fire. Falling veils. Sacred flame. Wavering lamp. Dawn is breaking. Global interception. 213 bunkers arrested. Spiritual malnutrition. Light after the blackout. Expansion of consciousness. Timeline of the Great Awakening. Let's start. A new wave of divine fire is arriving from cosmic space, which is a wave of divine love according to Benza Dono. This wave possesses powerful frequencies that not all human beings can withstand. Those who are willing to endure the frequency of this wave and assimilate it will become luminous. Such a profound atmospheric shift, unprecedented in its nature, will leave many stunned and unable to understand what has occurred. Divine fire represents a celestial power that purifies, transforms, and manifests the presence of divinity. In Christianity, divine fire is linked to the Holy Spirit. It is also associated with judgment and purification. In Hinduism, sacred fire symbolizes spiritual energy and the manifestation of divine power. The sacred flame of the Arati is a flickering lamp that symbolizes the light of knowledge, dispelling ignorance and connecting with the pure essence of divinity. The wave of fire is described as a spiritual event that will shift the energy on earth. Many souls are spiritually malnourished, meaning they may not be ready for such a profound transformation. Following this event, those who are prepared will understand what has happened and experience a heightened awareness. These individuals will play a vital role in assisting those who may feel confused by the sudden energetic or perceptual shift. It is not expected that everyone will experience this shift. Some will choose to remain in their previous state of consciousness. Those who receive this energetic envelopment will move to a higher place within themselves, becoming brighter, more loving, and immune to previous worries or limitations. The mission of the light bearers involves helping, guiding, and reassuring a disoriented yet joyful world. Awakened individuals should enjoy the new state and be ready to reassure others who may be bewildered by the collective leaping consciousness. Blackout. Mr. Poole describes a worldwide disruption, known as the 10 Days of Darkness. He states that the coalition has received a final code that triggers a complete and immediate blackout of all digital systems. The event is described as the storm and the revelation, where hidden issues will be exposed through a global broadcast system. The light that follows the blackout will be unstoppable. After this blackout, reconnection to a new quantum internet is expected, secure, uncensorable, and inherent to financial sovereignty. The current financial system would become obsolete, governments would change, and industry and education would be renewed. Initiatives such as debt forgiveness, the release of suppressed technologies, public healing centers, and the new mass consciousness would be activated. This change represents a profound reset for humanity, with the definitive fall of the old power system, giving way to a new era. The final recommendation is to remain calm and be aware that the signs were always present and the coming times will define the future of the world. Levels. Media Greer indicates that the global financial reset has already begun with the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar in September 2025, and that there is a dissolution of the old financial system, which would have activated the new quantum financial system and the blackout of tax law. She also describes the collapse of the debt-based system and the emergence of a new fair, sovereign and gold-backed system with implementation planned for 2026. This analysis reveals how the global transition to a renewed financial order is sustained by a 5-level structure that supports the current process of the global financial reset. The first level is composed of central banks and sovereign states. They are the custodians of the old system and are necessary to make the transition to the new monetary order. The second level functions as the distribution center for the flow of funds. They don't create wealth but control the movement and release of resources. The third level consists of holders of historical bonds and the forgotten or suppressed private assets, and represents the correction of the system. Their redemption clears fraudulent debts, creating a new financial starting point. The fourth tier consists of enlightened citizens who investigate the new financial system, hold revalued currencies, and help pave the way for its implementation. Finally, the fifth tier comprises the unprepared majority of the population, who will benefit from the reset but lack strategic capacity. Interception. On October 26, 2025, more than 213 high-ranking bankers and financial operators were arrested in 5 countries, according to Ethan White of K-Stellar. These actions are part of a coordinated operation to dismantle global financial corruption networks. This was not a publicity stunt or a media event. It happened quietly. Geneva, Frankfurt, Brussels, Dubai, and the Cayman Islands were raided in coordinated operations. The seized data included hard drives, cloning software, fake biometric shells, and credentials linked to central bank infrastructure. During the arrests, a malicious software package known as Libra was captured. It was developed to compromise biometric chains by replicating genetic signatures and inserting synthetic overlays. This malware represents a serious attempt to prevent the release and distribution of funds for global economic and social justice. They created malware called Libra, designed to clone DNA, infiltrate quantum accounts, and sabotage the transfer of funds under the QFS system and the user application. Its purpose was to intercept user disbursements before they were activated. It was capable of hijacking nodes, spoofing identities, and simulating full access verification on QFS mirrors. One of their operations targeted a civilian relay site in El Paso, where a malware activator was discovered that emitted electromagnetic pulses 12 minutes before execution. Had it been activated, it would have whipped the entire civilian node, concealing a large-scale transfer to elite wallets abroad. These raids are part of a broader offensive to eradicate corruption in the banking, political, and corporate sectors, blocking resistance to the activation of fairer and more transparent financial systems. This aligns with other movements seeking a reset of the financial and social system, eradicating control and facilitating new technologies and systems such as the quantum internet, financial sovereignty, debt eradication, and more. The news highlights the historic magnitude of this action and the transformation that is approaching. Breaking news. Putin declares Canada a failed state. Marjorie Taylor Greene announces her resignation from Congress on January 5, 2026. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says he is prepared to order the arrest of Bill and Hillary Clinton if they refuse to appear in court and testify under oath about Jeffrey Epstein. Hamas accuses Israel of violating the ceasefire in Gaza nearly 500 times. Ukraine. The Russian Duma called for abandoning Trump's peace plan and defeating Ukraine. The US peace plan questions the idea of using frozen Russian assets to finance Ukraine. Trump says Ukraine has shown zero gratitude toward the US. Third peace plan rejected. War will continue until Ukraine falls. Trump says Zelensky will have to accept his peace plan for Ukraine, which forces it to cede territory to Russia. Trump told Zelensky and the Europeans who reject the agreement, either you accept it or you fight Russia yourselves. Moscow wants Kharkiv and Odessa to be subject to a special neutrality regime. Marco Rubio highlights that the Geneva meeting on Ukraine has been the most productive so far, in quotes. Russian intelligence warns of the lack of European intelligence on Ukraine. The UK is preparing to send troops to Ukraine. Economy. The Global South emerges victorious from the G20 summit in South Africa. The world economy is fragmenting due to sanctions, declares the head of the Russian delegation at the G20 summit. China is willing to promote the construction of an open world economy with the G20. Europe. Europe's economic course is leading it to ruin, according to the media. The Eurozone economy is growing again, but the weakness of the manufacturing sector and rising costs continue to hinder growth. The German economy is on track to end the year with only 0.2% growth. NATO launches naval exercises in the Baltic Sea. Sardinia is putting empty houses on the market for €1 to combat depopulation. They are offering up to €15,000 to those who move to a town with fewer than 3,000 inhabitants to buy or renovate a home, provided they reside there for at least 5 years. Spain. The Arctic cold wave brings heavy snowfall to northern Spain. Very strong gusts of wind and frost in the Balearic Islands and the Pyrenees. Christmas will generate 127,000 jobs, mostly in retail, hospitality, and transportation. Spanish households spend 7.7 years of their salary and 34% of their income on a mortgage. Sumar proposes a universal basic income of €550 per month for young people. Brussels opens proceedings against Spain for failing to implement European law on the trade of firearms. 2 Spanish fighter jets intervene in response to an alert about Russian drones entering Poland. The Vatican accepts the resignation of the Bishop of Cádiz following accusations of sexual abuse. Americas. Mexico commemorates the 150th anniversary of its revolution with a grand parade. The Mexican economy contracts due to industrial awakening, according to the National Institute of Statistics. Maria Corina Machado publishes a manifesto for freedom in the Washington Post. The U.S. transferred $872 million to Argentina to pay IMF debt. The Argentina government is concerned about the Sinada linked to a corruption case. The UN summit's COP30 weather agenda in the Amazon fails. Bolsonaro detained preventively due to flight risk. Bolsonaro says he tried to burn his electronic ankle monitor out of paranoia. The EU-Mercosur free trade agreement will be signed on December 20th. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.